Dominic, I read your article, which prompted this conversation. You wrote it in the Business Day last week, and my eyes were popping with each sentence. The phenomenon of hijacking of residential property in South Africa, you say, is on the rise.
It is indeed, Mungani. It is quite a scary situation. These are organized property hijacking syndicates. They're very well educated in terms of the use, or should I say abuse, of the court process. They understand the application of relevant legislation, and they're also very well aware of internal South African Police Service directives and perhaps incapacity. And they use us to their benefit in what I term a fruitful business model, by all means. Essentially, they take over a residential property, whether it is a house in a security estate or an entire residential apartment block, and evict lawful tenants and sometimes even owners. And they place their own tenants in, and they enjoy monthly rentals going forward, which the owner obviously doesn't get. And they're not responsible to pay rates and taxes and utility service fees. That remains the owner's problem.
A lot of people will have the perception that this is the kind of thing that happens, in Hillbrow, Sunnyside, in Pretoria, Yeoville. But I was struck by the idea that you're saying increasingly they're targeting affluent areas, including, as you've just mentioned now, even in gated communities, in security estates. Just explain that.
So what we've seen in the past is a specific area or suburb will be targeted, and a house will be rented by syndicate members within that area. So they're operating inside a boomed-off area, for instance, or in a suburb. You don't realize that they are on the prowl. They then observe when someone goes away on holiday, and they break into the house not to steal anything, but to install tenants. And when a owner gets back and finds that now I have unlawful occupiers in the property, they have to embark on a very lengthy process to try and get rid of these people. It's prevalent not just in the previous areas you mentioned. I tend to believe that in the Hillbrows and Sunnyside, that was a training ground for the syndicates. They've simply become better and more proficient at what they're doing.
All right, Dominic, explain, why can't I simply go to my local police station and say, hang on, there are people who are just now living at my house. I'm the property owner. I was gone for 4 days. I need to get them out. Why can't I be guaranteed the officers will help me?
All right, so this is quite a convoluted situation. The problem is you need to act as fast as possible once you realize someone's on your property. So if you, for instance, have simply gone for a dinner and come back and realize people have broken in and they want to get access to your property, they're then essentially trespassing. You then approach the police service to come and remove the people and arrest them. So that is time is of the essence. If you don't do that, and the police haven't acted, and the people have occupied the actual residence, then something called the Prevention of Illegal Eviction from an Unlawful Occupation of Land Act kicks in. We refer to it colloquially as the PI Act. In this act, you first need to approach court to get an actual order saying you may give notice to these unlawful occupiers that you want to apply to evict them from your property. This is now out of the hands of the South African Police Service. This is now strictly a court process.
702.
More than a radio station.
Let's walk the talk.